The black convoy arrived just before sunrise, when the city was still half asleep and the air smelled of rain and diesel. 5 armored SUVs stopped in front of the tallest glass building in the financial district. Security guards rushed outside, confused, whispering into their radios. No one had been told about a visit. No one expected anyone at that hour. The doors of the first vehicle opened slowly. A tall man stepped out, his shoes touching the wet pavement with calm precision. He wore a simple dark coat, nothing flashy, but the way everyone suddenly became quiet said more than any expensive suit could. Inside the building, executives were already panicking. Titan Meridian Group was one of the most powerful construction empires in the region. Its chairman, Chief Balogun, was a man whose influence stretched across politics, banking, and government contracts. Yet that morning he sat at the head of the long glass boardroom table looking unusually tense. Documents were scattered everywhere. Phones kept buzzing. Lawyers whispered urgently. "Are you telling me we lost controlling shares overnight?" he asked slowly. One of the financial analysts swallowed. "Sir, someone has been buying through several shell companies for months, quietly, piece by piece." "Who?" The analyst hesitated. "We only just discovered the parent company, Obsidian Holdings." The doors of the boardroom opened at that exact moment. Every head turned. The tall man from the convoy walked in, calm, silent, observing everything with steady eyes. Chief Balogun frowned. "This meeting is private." The stranger placed a folder on the table and pushed it forward. "Not anymore." The lawyer flipped through the pages. His face slowly drained of color. Chief Balogun leaned forward. "Explain yourself." The stranger spoke quietly. "As of this morning, Obsidian Holdings owns 51% of Titan Meridian Group." The room exploded with confused voices. Then something strange happened. At the far end of the table, a man named Tund Balogun stared at the stranger like he had just seen a ghost. "No," he whispered. The stranger looked at him for the first time. A faint smile touched his face, but there was no warmth in it. "Good morning, Tund." The silence that followed felt heavy enough to break the room, because Tund knew exactly who he was looking at. Chinedu, the boy everyone once laughed at. But the truth behind that moment began many years earlier in a place that no one in that polished boardroom would ever want to remember. Far from the city towers, beyond the paved highways and construction cranes, there was a dry farming settlement called Obanku. It was the kind of place maps barely noticed. The soil was stubborn. Rain arrived late. Electricity came and went like a rumor. At night, the sky was so dark that the stars felt painfully bright. That was where Chinedu grew up. His father had been the village schoolteacher, a quiet man who believed that books were more powerful than money. The man owned almost nothing except a wooden desk, several old dictionaries, and a stubborn belief that knowledge could open locked doors. Children respected him. Parents trusted him. But respect does not pay hospital bills. When Chinedu was 10, his father collapsed during class. Within 3 months, the illness had taken everything. After the funeral, the family's small world shrank quickly. His mother began selling roasted corn by the roadside. She worked long hours under the sun, her hands always smelling of charcoal smoke. Some days she returned home with only enough money for one small meal. Chinedu watched everything quietly. Poverty has a strange way of teaching children to grow up early. School became complicated after his father died. The other students changed the way they looked at him. Teachers who once praised him started ignoring him. His uniform faded until the blue cloth looked almost gray. The knees were patched with fabric from an old curtain. And there were always the city boys. Every holiday season, several wealthy families visited the village to inspect their farms and properties. Their children treated the place like a strange outdoor museum. They arrived in shiny SUVs, wearing sneakers that cost more than most villagers earned in months. Tund Balogun and his close friend Emeka were the loudest among them. They enjoyed pointing out the difference between themselves and everyone else. One afternoon, they found Chinedu sitting under a tree reading an old economics book someone had donated to the school library. Tund laughed. "Why are you reading that?" Chinedu did not look up. Because I want to understand business. Emeka smirked. You don't understand business. Your family sells corn. The other boys laughed. Chinedu kept reading, but something inside him tightened quietly. The only person who treated him normally was Adiz. She was known across the village for her bright confidence and calm intelligence. She asked questions that surprised adults. She spoke about leaving the village one day and studying architecture. To Chinedu, she felt like a piece of sunlight in a place that often felt gray. For years, he carried silent feelings for her. Not childish admiration, something deeper, something hopeful. But hope sometimes grows in the wrong soil. During their final year in secondary school, Chinedu decided to tell her how he felt. The moment happened behind the school building under a mango tree where students often sat during break. His voice shook slightly, but he spoke honestly. Adiz listened quietly. Before she could answer, footsteps approached. Tund and his friends had heard everything. Their laughter cut through the quiet afternoon air. Tund clapped slowly. You? He said. You think you can date her? Chinedu said nothing. Adiz avoided his eyes. The pressure of the moment was too much. I'm sorry, she said softly, but my life cannot stay here. She meant it kindly, but kindness can still wound deeply when spoken at the wrong time. That day, something inside Chinedu changed shape. Then life struck again. His mother became sick during the dry season. The local clinic could do very little. Medicine was expensive. Transport to the city hospital cost more than they had. He sat beside her bed at night, listening to her breathing grow weaker. Before she died, she held his hand. You must leave this place one day, she whispered. Not to prove anyone wrong. Leave because you deserve more. A week later, Chinedu disappeared from Obanku. No goodbye, no announcement, just gone. The village created its own explanations. Some said he had become a bus conductor in the city. Others claimed he joined a gang. Eventually, people stopped talking about him. Years passed, but far away, a very different story was unfolding. The city was expanding rapidly. New roads, new banks, new technology companies. Money moves faster every year. Somewhere within that chaotic energy, a young man worked silently behind computers and balance sheets. Chinedu never became a bus conductor. Instead, he spent years studying financial markets, learning how companies survive and collapse. He worked low-paying jobs during the day and studied at night. At some point, he realized something powerful. The richest men in the city were not always the smartest. They were simply the ones who understood leverage. Control the debt and you control the future. So he began building something carefully. Quiet investments, small technology projects, partnerships with foreign venture funds that valued his strange patience and analytical mind. And slowly, over many years, Obsidian Holdings was born. By the time the company became visible to the public, it was already enormous. But revenge was never as simple as Chinedu imagined. Because the deeper he entered the world of power, the more he discovered uncomfortable truths. Titan Meridian Group, the empire owned by Tun's father, was not just a symbol of arrogance. Thousands of workers depended on it. Engineers, drivers, families, entire communities built their lives around its projects. Destroying it would hurt many people who had never mocked him. That thought began disturbing his sleep. Then another complication appeared. Adiz. Years after rejecting him, she had built her own career in the city as an urban design consultant. They met again unexpectedly during a corporate development meeting. Their conversation was careful, quiet, heavy with history. You've changed, she said. So have you, he replied. But something about her behavior felt unusual. She asked many questions about Obsidian Holdings, about his plans, about his acquisitions. Too many questions. Weeks later, Chinedu discovered the truth. Adiz had been quietly working with a financial investigation unit examining suspicious market manipulations across several large companies, including Obsidian Holdings. Suddenly, the story he believed he controlled became more complicated. Was she investigating him or protecting him? And then the largest twist arrived unexpectedly. During a late-night review of old financial archives, Chinedu uncovered hidden records connected to Titan Meridian's earliest expansion years. The documents revealed something shocking. His father's death had not been random. Years ago, the school where his father worked had refused to sell land to a development project linked to Titan Meridian. Pressure followed. Legal threats, harassment. His father collapsed during that stressful period. The illness may have been natural, or it may have been accelerated by the unbearable pressure placed on him. The line between accident and consequence suddenly looked blurry. Standing inside his glass penthouse one night, looking over the glowing city, Chinedu finally understood something that revenge had hidden from him. This story was never about humiliating old enemies. It was about systems, power, choices made quietly that affect people who never sit inside boardrooms. The next morning, Obsidian Holdings made an announcement that shocked the entire financial world. Instead of dismantling Titan Meridian, Chinedu restructured it into a cooperative infrastructure network. Workers received equity shares. Development contracts shifted toward community housing and rural schools. Chief Balagan stepped down from leadership. Tund never spoke to Chinedu again, but thousands of workers kept their jobs. And months later, a new school opened in Obankur village. It stood on the same land where Chinedu's father once taught. The building was simple but strong. Solar panels on the roof, a library full of modern books. A small plaque near the entrance carried a quiet message. Knowledge builds futures that money alone cannot buy. The story of Chinedu spread widely, but most people misunderstood it. They believed it was a story about revenge. It was not. It was about something far more difficult. Choosing what kind of power you become once the world finally listens to you. Because the greatest victory is not defeating the people who once looked down on you. The greatest victory is refusing to become the same kind of person they expected you to be.